Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome on our second webinar, which is organized by whyr Foundation. My name is Marcin Kosiński. I'm a member of the foundation. And today we have a pleasure to host Olgun Aydin, who is a senior data scientist and works for PwC Poland for the office based in Gdańsk. Today we will have an interesting topic regarding ShinyMobile and the usage for mobile view. Let me briefly present Olgun. He has a PhD done in deep neural networks. He also wrote a book, R Web Scrubbing Quick Start Guide, which is available when you click more on the video's description. Olgun also prepared 2 courses called Deep Dive into Statistics Modeling with R and Applied Machine Learning and Deep Learning with R. I'm really happy to have Olgun on our webinar. He's also a member of whyr Foundation. And check out the description of the video to see upcoming next few webinars that will be held in Turkey, where Olgun also will have a chance to present. And those 2 are prepared by Pranageo. The floor is yours, Olgun. Warm applause and good luck. And I hope we will not have any internet issues. And yeah, just enjoy. Good luck.
Thanks a lot for the introduction, Marcin. Hello, everyone. It's actually a great pleasure to be here and to share with you something. Actually, thanks a lot, Marcin, for organizing such events. And those webinar series are quite exciting, and it's a great feeling to be a part of those webinar series. I'm just quickly sharing my screen. I'm just sharing it so we can, I think, slowly get it started. So today the topic is going to be, of course, about Shiny, as you can also see from the slide, but it will be a bit different part of Shiny applications. So the recently new framework, which is called ShinyMobile, has been released, and it's actually quite interesting, and it allows you to build mobile-ready application by just using Shiny. And as you know, that there is a quite feature and quite huge functionality when it comes to Shiny. So maybe we can call it like that. So there is no limit when it comes to Shiny. Of course, maybe there are some limits. So let's just don't overreact so much. But day by day, like a lot of new features are coming live. And so let's get it started. So I moved to Poland 2.5 years ago. And I'm working and living here. Also, I started to give classes in Gdańsk University of Technology about statistics. So just quick information about me, already Marcin mentioned, so I don't want to bother you. So, I'm a member of whyr Foundation, and I also had pleasure to organize Saturday Gdańsk last year here in Gdańsk. I was one of the organizers. So yeah, and also as Marcin mentioned, I also had a chance to write a book. So please feel free to reach me out from these links. Of course, whenever you want, you can text me via email, or you can reach out my GitHub repository. And I'm trying to keep it up to date as much as possible. Of course, also you can reach me out via Twitter. So let's take a look at our content today. So first, we are going to talk about Shiny concept. So as most of us know, that Shiny is a great framework of R. So we can basically build web applications by just using R. And also it is possible to add some JavaScript components to this Shiny application. And there are also very cool extensions, and the community is getting bigger and bigger when it comes to Shiny. And there are even some authentication extensions to Shiny app. So you can basically implement some authentication extension to your web application, Shiny web application, and you would be able to use it. You would be able to use it like a normal web application. So then we will basically take a look at some Shiny applications from all over the world. And there are quite a lot of Shiny applications, and Shiny applications are also being used on enterprise. And then we will just take a look at the mobile UI concept. And David, actually, who is the creator of this ShinyMobile framework, and he was saying that he was inspired by this mobile UI. Mobile UI is the framework which has been developed by RStudio, and it allows you to basically create some like a nice looking mobile nice looking applications using Shiny. And then we will talk about ShinyMobile framework. Then we will just quickly take a look and just like a very small trick when it comes to converting Shiny app into a mobile app. And so then we will try to do a demo. So on December, we had a chance to make a presentation about our deep neural network architecture, which was developed for trash segregation. And me and my colleague, Christian Zielinski, developed it, and we had the chance to present it. And we already had a Shiny application for this purposes. But we basically converted it into a ShinyMobile, and it's looking pretty cool. And let's hope nothing will go wrong, because just right before the presentation, just right before the webinar, and everything crashed on my Windows PC, and I prepared everything there, because we're working from home nowadays, and I didn't want to change the environment. But unfortunately, because everything crashed, so I just 10 minutes before the webinar, I had to move to my private computer. So it seems like everything is working. So I hope you will forgive me if something will go wrong. Let's get it started. So as we mentioned, Shiny is an R package, generally speaking, that allows the user to build interactive web apps just straight using R. So it is also possible to have those standalone apps on a web page, or you can embed them into some ARC Markdown documents. You can basically create dashboards, and you can basically create quite nice looking web applications by using Shiny. Of course, probably you wouldn't try to build some, like online marketing web page by using Shiny, because why you would try this, right? Usually those Shiny applications are based on some dashboards, some, analytical solutions, and so on. Of course, there are also quite interesting Shiny applications, and we will talk about this, but I'm just very excited about this. So last year, the first version of the Shiny contest had been organized. So this year, the second version of this conference is being organized. So you can submit also your Shiny app. So last year, there was a game based on Shiny, and it was quite interesting. So like I also mentioned, you can also extend your Shiny application by implementing CSS, HTML widgets, or some JavaScript. So you can, for example, implement some AngularJS or React.js component to your Shiny. So in our team in PwC, we are also mostly using Shiny applications. So we are developing machine learning models, and afterwards we have a couple of Shiny apps, and which allow us to monitor our machine learning models. And also we are able to present the model results to the business side via Shiny apps. And the results are pretty satisfying. And it didn't it didn't stop us. I mean, it's not so time consuming for us to provide such web application, and it's at the same time it's very efficient to provide results on very nice looking web applications to business, and business immediately gives like a wow effect, and when they see everything on its place. So basically this is pretty cool, and you know, we are trying to also improve something and so on. So like I mentioned, there are like thousands of Shiny applications all over the world. I'm not sure, probably most of you know, but just for the ones who don't know about this, as you know that RStudio was born in New Zealand, and that's why probably, so New Zealand's government is using Shiny application. So I think 15 of the ministries are using Shiny, and they are providing some dashboards. So for example, the first one is from, again, New Zealand, like I mentioned. So let's maybe try to take a look at this. And this is the literally official web page of New Zealand Ministry of Tourism. And they are here providing a lot of interesting data set regarding tourism activities in New Zealand. So as you can see, it's also deployed on Shiny Apps.io. So they just use open source. So you can go and take a look at very interesting statistics. So for example, this is the visitor spend in total all products, and then the monthly or yearly basis. You can change like different product categories and see them. And here also you have them in table format. You can also download those values. And so as you can see, this is official, the statistics. So as you can see, this data is clearly retrieved from official sources. And this website is also maintained by the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment. So another interesting, again, from New Zealand, this is another cool dashboard, which is about labor market in New Zealand, again from the same ministry. And you can have quite interesting information related to workforce in New Zealand. You can download this data on the charts as CSV or as PNG, or you can just print out those charts, and those charts are interactive, as you can see here. So as far as I remember, like I said, there are, I think, 15 dashboards like this from New Zealand, and it's quite interesting to see such thing. So as you know, unfortunately, we have this awful pandemic nowadays, and that's why we are at our homes recently. And so some Shiny developers also thought about this, and they developed quite nice Shiny application when it comes to COVID-19. And so basically you can follow the updates. So as you can see, unfortunately here, there is like over than 1.5 million cases all over the world. Let's hope we will get rid of this thing soon. So you can go and deeply make some interesting analysis, and you can compare the countries, and you can take a look at also different like previous pandemics and maybe make some comparison. It's quite interesting, and it's also based on Shiny, and it has been developed by using R. So another one, as far as I remember, this is this application also was one of the, this web application also was one of the web applications from previous year's Shiny contest. And this is also pretty interesting, and it's called Intelligentsia. So this is, again, a very interesting dashboard, which allows you to make some comparison when it comes to real estate markets. and things like that. So I'll just quickly show you, and then we'll stop bothering you with those applications. So yeah, as you can see here, sorry for that. So there are different information. There is different information on this web page, on this Shiny app. So yeah, it came true finally. So we top neighborhoods. You can take a look at the neighborhoods, and this is basically the k-means algorithm. As far as I remember, the k-means algorithm is running here. So you can also see some interesting information about New York, for example. It says that if you are new to New York City, and just please use our services and make some, comparison and things like that. So yeah, this is very interesting, and this is just based on Shiny. And like I said, it's also being used. The Shiny concept also is being used in enterprise world as well. Let's just move on to Shiny contest. As I mentioned at the beginning of our webinar, so the Shiny contest last year started to be organized, and this year, like I said, the second version of this contest is live, so you can freely submit your very interesting Shiny applications. So if you can go to this link, and you would basically see the results from the last year. So, there are actually interesting amount of, there were like 136 submissions from the last year. And there were very interesting applications. So, for example, this one got the Best Design Awards, and it's about love songs lyrical analysis. So yeah, this was the thing which I was mentioning, and this is just a game, and it's based on R. This is amazing. And another interesting application, which is about path records. So you can basically keep the records about your path here. And so yeah, there are many. Quite interesting. For the community, it's great that there's such challenge. Okay, so let's maybe slowly, I think we are already warm, right? So I think we warmed up a bit, we got warmed up quite okay, quite nice, right? So let's just start talking about this mobile concept, or how the Shiny applications look like on the mobile world, let's call it like that. So there is also one framework which is called Mobile UI, and this Mobile UI basically provides some functions for writing Shiny apps, which basically allow you to run your Shiny apps on very small screens. And so we can think about, for example, running Shiny apps on mobile phones, or on some tablets and so on. So basically this concept had been developed by RStudio, and it's, I mean, they were inspired by the CSS framework, which is called Ratchet. And so this is quite interesting, and as you can see on the bottom, so you can create a quite minimalized Shiny application. So for example, here on the first page, on the first tab, there are parameters, and you can select years, and then you can go to the data tab. You can see the filtered data. You can jump into map tab, and then you can see basically the data on the map and according to your filters. So, but we have right now more interesting framework, which is called ShinyMobile. And it's not actually very old story. It's I think quite new framework. And so David and his friends basically developed such framework, and it's built on the top of the latest framework 7 template, and clearly it allows you to develop mobile really shiny app, as it's also obvious from the name. And you can also develop progressive web apps. And so it's, you know, this progressive web apps, they look quite similar to the native apps. So as you know, that when you even create some responsive web application, and every time you can see this the URL bar, but those progressive web apps basically help you not to show this the URL bar, and then easily you can provide quite nice looking and similar looking web application to native apps. And of course, you can also use ShinyMobile for developing desktop applications. So we were mentioning about this year's Shiny contest, and this is one of the candidate application which has been built by using ShinyMobile. So it's another coronavirus tracker, and I think the best thing about this application, you can see data from various sources. It's again mobile friendly. So actually we can maybe try to take a look at quickly to this one. So it should be here. So it is quite interesting one. So we can also switch the view. As you can see on Google Chrome, you can just go into inspect elements, and later on you can switch to this view. And then on the top, you can select different devices to be able to see how your application will look like on those devices. So for example, this application will look like on iPad like this. So we can also change the coverage, so how much of the screen will be covered. And then you can also change the rotation. So, you know, when it will be horizontal, for example, it will look like that it will look like this on iPad. So you can switch it to, for example, to iPhone X. So you can also change the rotation and see how it will look like there. So as you know, this is actually quite cool feature of Google Chrome. And of course, not only Google Chrome, so other browsers also allow you to do this, but I like this Chrome's ability. So, you know, on this application, you can change the data source and see different analysis and different comparisons and things like that. So if you just text to Google COVID-19 tracker Shiny contest, probably you will find it. But if not, I will for sure share this with you, and then you can take a look more from the more detailed perspective. So so let's just a bit, you know, go to details about this ShinyMobile, you know, framework. So as for now, there are only 2 themes available for ShinyMobile, so which are light and dark. So on the left-hand side, you can see the light, and on the right-hand side, you can see the dark one. Another actually very interesting and very powerful thing about ShinyMobile, and it basically understands the device operation system, and then it also switches it according to it. So for example, here you can see a light theme on Android phone on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, you can see dark theme on iPhone, on iOS operation system. And this is quite impressive. And so it basically allows you to do such things quite fast and in a quite efficient way. So let's just maybe take a look at those components on this ShinyMobile, because there are quite interesting components on it. So basically, David and his friends already prepared very cool demo app, so you can just play with those functionalities, and you can see very interesting things here. So let's just try to make it a bit bigger. So as you can see, we don't see this, you know, the URL bar, and so the design is quite stable and quite cool, and there are very interesting and very nice input elements. So for example, you can add such inputs like that. So as you can see, it also updates here, and you can actually add also some sliders. You can change these ranges by using that. So you can also add some values by using single slider. There are also some text input elements on the ShinyMobile. So for example, you can type here like whyr foundation. So then you would be able to see that it's also getting this from UI, and it just prints it out. And there are also right and left panels, and like on the native, like we have on the native apps. So actually, there are more also interesting components of this ShinyMobile. So if you go to this FABs part, so you can also see like quite interesting components. So for example, there is this the button. When you just click it, and there are also other input elements are appearing. So there are also very interesting buttons, and so you can also see quite interesting and quite nice looking cards. And for example, when you click on the card, it opens, and then afterwards, so you can just close it, okay, or not close it. Okay, so we managed to close. So yeah, there are, I mean, like I said, there are quite interesting components of this ShinyMobile. And like I said, this is just a demo app, so they just try to put here all the functionalities what they already released, and of course new features are coming. So please just stay tuned, then follow the R interface webpage. So I will also show you, of course, and then just stay tuned and try to get more insights and more information about this great framework. So yeah, we talked about those themes, and let's also a bit talk about those core layouts components. So as you know that on Shiny apps, we have also for sure some some components, like some layout components. So we have flute page, we have navbar page, and so on. And so we also have like flute row and the column and things like that, and you know, many of components. So those are, we can say that they are core layout components. So this is F7 page. This is a function, and it's basically allowing you to create this ShinyMobile web page, and we can call it as a main skeleton of the application. And there is also F7 navbar component. And so basically, this is also another important part. So you are putting the titles and important elements for the panels inside of this navbar function. And F7 panel, it allows you to control sidebars, you know, on the left or on the right-hand side. So you are basically controlling those sidebars, and you are controlling what you are going to show when on those the sidebars, or how you are going to allow your users to control the applications on some buttons on the sidebars and things like that. So toolbars, basically the toolbars also allows you to add some toolbars either to the bottom of the web page or to the top of the web page. You can also add some icons or some links on these toolbars, and then you can also give another kind of flexibility to your users. Basically, it's up to your imagination, and it's up to your needs and things like that. We can call it like that. So let's just move on, and I will try to switch to RStudio, and then I would like to show you basically how this ShinyMobile looks like. And I try to create very simple ShinyMobile application. And so for example, this one so is just for the first, so this the tab layout. So when you have tab layout, so you can basically put here a tab on the bottom or on the top. So the script basically is for creating such application. And so basically you are saying that, okay, create F7 page and give the title of your application, and then add panels. And so here also, as you can see, there's panel there. We have left panel because we said that we have a side panel, and then it will be on the left hand side. So just please activate the one on the left. You can also change the theme and then effect of these panels. And there is also possibility to add navigation bar. And then also you can, like I said, add also tabs. So here, as you can see, there's tab on the bottom, and it's called first tab, and you can basically allow your user to connect to, you know, somewhere, and or just get something interesting. So this is the ShinyMobile concept for single layout, and it's pretty straightforward. So you are creating your F7 page, and then creating also your single layout. This is the layout component. So here also you are saying that, okay, please create me a ShinyMobile app by using this tab layout. And then here you are saying that, okay, please just, I don't need something more complicated, just please use a very simple one and just create a ShinyMobile application using single layout. So you can also put some navigation bar and things like that. So, and then later on, you can also add the Shiny functions or some R functions inside of this, of course. So what can I also tell you regarding this? So this one is the layout, which is called split layout. So let's take a look. And the split layout, basically you are putting a side bar, and the sidebar is active all the time, and you are splitting your app. So it is actually mainly preferred for wide screens. So actually, like I said, maybe I forgot to mention, there is also quite cool cheat sheet about ShinyMobile, which has been again provided by David and his team and the creator of this framework. And there is PDF version of this cheat sheet on their GitHub repository, but you can also download it in PPT version. And inside of this PowerPoint version, there are quite a lot of details and you can easily understand the concept, and you can easily implement the the things which you would like to have. Let's just move on, and let's just take a look at the tricks. So we were mentioning about how we can convert a Shiny application into a mobile app. So as we can call it, if we can call it as a mobile app, so as you know that on iPhones, so when you land any web page from Safari browser, so there is share button, and this is actually the Shiny application, which has been developed by me and my colleague. So I just did it today, and I just landed to this Shiny applications URL, and then open it, and there is this share button on Safari, and it appears. And then after clicking the share button, so this screen pops up, and there is also the functionality to add this application to this website to your home screen. And when you click it, it creates actually shortcut, and then but it looks like a mobile app, and this is pretty cool. And a lot of corporations are actually using, because corporations have some web applications to log hours and things like that. So instead of spending time to develop the mobile applications from the scratch, so they are basically creating shortcut of those apps, and then you can install those shortcuts on your the iPhone, and then easily you can browse. And there is also another possibility, but like I said, because my PC crashed, so I'm not able to show it to you. So what I wanted to show you, and there is what I wanted to show you is there is another possibility to convert the Shiny mobile app to a sort of let's call it native app. It's not really native, but what you can do, you can just create very simple Android app or iOS app. So basically, it's also possible to show some web page right inside of this application. If you just tell your iOS or Android app to go to this web page and then open this on this application, so then basically it will look like a native app. Because this Shiny mobile doesn't have this, the URLs and things, URL bar, and because it has a functionality to have progressive web apps, so it would look like pretty similar to native app. And also there is one quite interesting blog post from David, and he's explaining how to do it on MacBooks. And so I already did it for Android, but it's on my Windows PC. But you can find it for iOS applications. So you're opening your Xcode and creating a very simple iOS app, and basically putting like on this iOS app, you're opening a browser, and then you're landing. Basically, of course, first of all, you have to publish this Shiny application. So we forgot about saying this. So there is one possibility to publish your Shiny app is using shinyapps.io. So they have also freeware, let's say, and you can freely store your Shiny apps there publicly. Of course, if you also pay for some premium accounts and premium subscriptions, so you also have a chance to host your Shiny apps on your domain, and so you can also make it like a private and things like that. So let's assume that you published the Shiny app, your Shiny app on shinyapps.io by using freeware, and then later on you can basically inside of this simple iOS app or Android app, you can open web browser and then just land to your Shiny app, and then it will look like pretty similar to native app. So yeah, this is I think kind of a part which which I would like to tell you about the concept and about how the things work. And so right now I would like to show you our let's say ShinyMobile app. So as I already mentioned, so maybe I can also show you the normal Shiny version of this app. So then you would have more imagination how it looks like and what is the difference basically. So I also, by the way, published it, and it's available on my GitHub repository. Feel free to pull the codes and just, feel free to make any changes or ask some questions, and you can also create some issue, a ticket and things like that. So let me just open this Shiny app, and yep, it's here. And so I'm using the free version of Shiny apps, but of course I started to think about maybe using like premium version because it gives you more functionality, and also it allows you to store more than 5 Shiny apps. So maybe I will consider it seriously. So maybe in the future I will have it. So of course also, on the free version of the Shiny apps IO, and you have limited computation power. So I think the RAM of the machine on free version is having like 1 GB RAM. So anyway, this is our Shiny app. So basically, like I said, we developed this for kind of providing a system for trash segregation. So as you know that in Europe, the trash segregation is quite important, and the municipalities and governments are pretty strict about this. And even so one of the company from our office got really huge fine because they didn't follow the regulations when it comes to trash segregation. And then we just thought that, with me and my colleague, we just thought that, okay, maybe we can provide some, pretty simple web application, but of course on the background by using machine learning and deep neural networks. And we basically developed deep neural networks using transfer learning. We use VGG16 networks. And this is the deep neural network developed by Oxford University researchers. And we basically apply the transfer learning techniques. So, by freezing last layers, or, like so the top layers and things like this. So we got pretty cool results. And so what is this application doing? So whenever you add some trash photo here, and on mobile app also, there is a possibility to upload the data, right immediately taking photo from your phone. So for example, here I uploaded a photo, and so this is like crumbled paper, right? So it's actually lunch bag. Sorry. So, and then it's basically providing you predictions based on 4 classes, and it gives you the probabilities of those classes regarding this image. For example, this image is taken from the web randomly, and there are also some watermarks on the photo, on the image, but still the algorithm is able to give the high probability for the paper. So it tells us that, so with 61% probability, this is paper. So whenever you cannot decide, or like you don't know, I mean, for this example, it's quite obvious, but sometimes it might be tricky because there are 5 different beans, and as you know, and so sometimes it's tricky. So you cannot decide, is it bio, or is it waste, or is it plastic, or maybe paper? And especially when it comes to milk bags, it was quite confusing for me. I was expecting that it has to be thrown to the paper, the bin for paper, but not. It actually has to be thrown to the bin for plastic and metals. So long story short, this is our Shiny app, and this is web application, and we converted it into the mobile app using ShinyMobile concept. And so this is still in progress, I mean, in development, but this is the first version of it. So this is quite interesting and quite exciting to have such concept. And so basically we can again try to, for example, download something different. So let's just put this image. And so it also uploaded this image. And as you can see, this is a trash, right? So yeah, and the probability for this image is 1 when it comes to trash class. So it says that with 100% probability, this image is trash. So yeah, which is obvious, but it's great to get such information from the computer, right? So you don't need to think about this. So for example, let's just try another one. And so this is like a cola bean, and so this is metal, and there is also one bin for plastic and metals. And so the category for this trash should be metal and plastic. So as you can see, with very high probability, the model is able to predict it correctly, like class of this trash. So maybe I can sort of kind of share like a couple of tricks, or maybe I'm not saying that I'm specialist, but actually for me at the beginning it was quite hard to understand some things, because so I was thinking that I was able to implement like normal Shiny elements without having any dots. So for example, I was thinking that, okay, I created here the page, so by using F7 page function, and then I put here the title, and I created navigation bar and the write down like some title there and things like this. So then okay, I think there is something wrong with the sharing, so I will try to do it again. Sorry, I think you weren't able to see the RStudio, so I think now you will be able to see it.
Yeah, we do see RStudio now.
Perfect, perfect. Thanks a lot. Okay, great. So yeah, I was talking about the RStudio, but you weren't able to see the code. So yeah, as you can see here, for the other like a very simple applications I mentioned. So you're creating this ShinyMobile page using this F7 page function, and so the later on you should, okay, I couldn't move this, okay, managed, cool. So yeah, so then I was thinking that, okay, I already created this page by using F7 page function, and then I immediately put here this file input function, which allows user to upload some photo, and then but no, and it actually worked, but it didn't look quite nice as we have on the application right now. So but I realized that again I had to again sort of call this function inside a flute page function. And so as you know that this is creating a ShinyMobile app, but if you would like to call some Shiny native functions, Shiny native concept, it is possible, but please be aware that you should do it inside of flute page or any other page components which are coming from the core Shiny, and then that's basically it. So I just call this part, and inside of Fluid page, and the server side even didn't change, because basically, you know, what we are doing different on the UI part, right? So, and I was able to here, for example, call the Python function. So the Python function is basically loading this H5 model, and so the calling this Python function, and then later on there's this prediction trash function inside of this script, which is Python script, and this is Python function, and then I'm just calling this H5 model and loading this H5 model using this script. And so, you know, everything went quite nice and quite smooth. So I think that's pretty much everything from my side. I hope you were satisfied with the you know, the talk, let's say. Okay, I think I can stop sharing my screen.
Okay, thank you, Olgun. That was really broad. Thanks for the introduction, for examples, the Shiny contest, and of course, the usage of the ShinyMobile and the code in your app looks really beneficial. For sure, it can help people with the trash segregation. There are a lot of questions during the talk. We've got quite a few. I think the main question that most of the people have in their mind was asked by Mateusz. Do you need to create two separate Shiny applications, one for the mobile and one for the desktop, and then somehow manage the view for the end user? Or you can just have either a desktop version or either a mobile version of the app?
So I think it's better to have a separate two versions. So as actually in my case, for example, because normal Shiny apps are also responsive, but if you try to open it from the mobile, so sometimes, you know, they don't seem quite straight. I mean, quite smooth. So I think I would create two separate ones and then use for mobile purposes the one which is created by ShinyMobile, and for the desktop I would use the one which is created by using normal Shiny, the core Shiny.
Okay, so then you have to, and somehow then the server realizes what is the user agent and presents whether the desktop or mobile version.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next one by Bartek, is there any way to port the ShinyMobile into Android or iOS real app?
You know, it is very hard. So I don't know. I couldn't find any way to do so. But like I said, I try to explain sort of workaround. You know, creating a very simple iOS or Android app, and then just starting a browser on this app, and then landing to this ShinyMobile page via this this mobile application, iOS or Android applications. So of course you can also, you know, pack it as a proper you know, mobile application, and then put it some store and things like that. But I couldn't find any other way to do so. Probably it would be a bit tricky. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we need some more time and development and investigation. There are many other questions. I will ask those closely related to the topic, and if we have energy and time, then I will ask the rest that are not quite to the topic. So
sure.
Okay. Can you use any OAuth authentication or any kind of authentication for the mobile versions of Shiny application?
To be honest, I haven't tried it yet for the mobile app, but it is possible to use it for normal Shiny apps. So we were actually using it for those monitoring applications in the work. So for our stakeholders, and we created some users, and then it's also possible to have some user management. And then, so basically we provided those users their credentials, and they were able to log in the app and then see.
Okay, and was it an in-house authentication? Did you use maybe Shiny Proxy?
Yeah, Shiny Proxy. Yeah, exactly. This is what we used. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we can try how does it work with Shiny Proxy then.
Yeah, sure.
Can you recommend any techniques for testing a Shiny app? I know that's hard. That's not a regular R function or an analysis. Any techniques for testing? Any good advices?
Maybe I could recommend R Selenium. So you can create some test scenarios by using R Selenium, and then, you know, select some request to web page, you know, just mimicking like a normal person, and then collect also the responses from the web page, and then look at the reports. I think that would be a good solution, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so you can use R Selenium to mimic a browser, so that it should display the content, and then you can check the fields based on XPath CSS.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. This is what I would do probably, but maybe there is another, and there is much better solution, but this just came to my mind. Yeah.
You can open a Shiny in R Selenium, make a print screen, and then compare with an image recognition whether it should look like you envisioned it to be.
Expected. Yes, true. Yeah.
Alrighty, what do we have there? Okay, how long does it take for a Shiny user to master mobile framework?
For a Shiny user, you mean?
Let's say, yeah, I used Shiny for 2 years. How long it would take me to master the mobile version of Shiny?
I mean, I'm not a master, but I just know and I use it a bit. So, but it didn't take me so long. So it was pretty straightforward, and the documentation on the R interface and ShinyMobile page, they were pretty nice and pretty straightforward, and the cheat sheet also was pretty explanatory, informative. And so if you know the Shiny concept pretty well, and you can basically connect the dots quite easily.
Okay. Okay. There's a long one. This is one by Ragwan. Is there any other way of calling subroutines functions from other languages like Pascal, C, Fortran? Like you just showed a Python function called just curious.
To be honest, I don't know. I've never tried. I just try to call Python functions from our environments, because we sometimes develop those deep neural networks on the top of Python. So then we are building those Shiny apps. Then we need to call them somehow. But to be honest, I have no idea when it comes to those languages.
Okay. Agnieszka also asked, why were you calling Python function to open H5? And the question is whether is it more efficient than other ways, but I don't know if there's any other way to open this file.
There is actually one more way. Open it using the Keras R package, but it was a bit painful and it wasn't so stable. And so there was a problem when it comes to TensorFlow version, I think. And also the version, like the format of this HPy file, as far as I remember, it wasn't like very good fitting to the Keras R library. And of course, also for us, it was more convenient because we were already calling those functions when we were providing predictions on Python. And then we just basically create a very simple function and then just call it via R. And it was for us more convenient. But we tried to call it not without using Python, but we couldn't manage. I think something crashed. I think there was an issue when it comes to TensorFlow, our TensorFlow version and Keras, I think.
Okay, so there are two ways, and you were unsuccessful with the other. This works, and yeah, that's probably just on the beginning of the Shiny. So this, if it's less or more efficient, it just influences the time of the loading of the Shiny, but probably have no other influence on the performance when it loads in the end.
Yeah, true.
Question from Anya: do you have any tips for the management of the reproducibility of Shiny applications? How you handle that?
So, I mean, maybe I can sort of tell how we try to manage, so, we are actually, of course, using those version control systems, like Git, we have Git repositories. And so what we are using, so for example, we have a couple of projects and they are quite similar, but from some perspective, they are changing. But how we approach this, let's say, this problem, or let's say this situation, we try to create some generic Shiny app. And then this Shiny app is core part of our, let's say, monitoring apps. So then we are configuring it when there is a need. Let's say sometimes stakeholders say that I would like to see also such performance of the model based on the time. And then we are just configuring it or adding new extensions and new functionality to this Shiny app. But the first thing what we did, we just had the one core Shiny app. And then right now, if there is a need, we are configuring it according to the needs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Olgun, that was a very interesting presentation. I think it took over an hour, so thank you for your energy and the time. All the questions are so far answered. There are no more questions. If you guys have any more, like in upcoming days, in the description of the video, there is a URL to our Slack at whyr Foundation. You can join the Slack, ask questions on the general channel. There is also one channel dedicated to webinars. And I think that's all for today, and looking forward to next events. So Olgun will have a presentation at Turkish R webinars. You can find the YouTube channel and the dates in the description of this video. And next week we will have a speaker from University of Munich. Heidi will give a talk about the ways of teaching machine learning in a remote setup. So this might be helpful in the times that we just got stuck into. I hope you did enjoy. Olgun, thanks once again, and see you next week.
Thanks a lot.